I just wish I was home with my one person, you know?
Red vines, those are the truth.
Taylor knew about the vote flipping before me? Somebody. I'm just, oh my God.
It's fine. Don't tell anyone.
No, I'm not.
I just wish I was home with my one person, you know?
Guys, we just finished episode 11 of Big Brother 24 here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting. We're covering this episode live here on Sunday, July 31st, 2022. I'm Dave Mader, joined by my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson to break this episode down. We're here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch. And Jaemeel, you've been away. You're now back on camera. We checked in with you on Wednesday as you were coming home. You had a birthday on Thursday. When we didn't get a chance to cover that eviction because Jeff and I had a playoff game and it was your birthday and we were all busy.
So the question I have to ask, I really want to know, y'all win?
No. We're out of the playoffs. Our
sucks.
season's done, but it makes the podcast scheduling easier.
Yeah, but I wanted you all to win.
Well, thank you. We appreciate.
I wanted y'all to win.
Oh my God! No, that's Jeff. Who is that?
What's Jasmine doing here?
That's Jasmine.
Oh my gosh! I have the most stereotypical accent you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Snakes get away better than you do, girl. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either what she was going on about there, but it was something else.
You know what hurts the most, Jeff?
And here we are. You want to know what hurts me the most? Is that we didn't know, but Taylor did.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm effing saying, guys.
What did she say? We don't know what.
No, she says what hurts the most that Taylor knew about the vote flip and we didn't. And then Alyssa goes, "That's what I'm fucking saying." So
yeah, so they're
but
just
it was four of you,
yeah.
No,
they hate that they're on the outs. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
But Dave,
yes.
strongest female cast ever. Strongest
yeah, definitely strongest, pound for pound, or whatever.
It would go up with the best of them.
Go over the best of them. I don't even know based on what qualities. How are you even judging that before anything's played out?
So
it's always these ridiculous
the amount of HOHs the women have obviously won in vetoes. Wait, they've only won one, and
it was
a co-win. The vetoes. It's all been Michael so far.
Yeah. Wait, what?
and Brittany. She co-won one with them.
Yeah. So what exactly is it? They had an all-female alliance that lasted a week? Honestly, a week? Really?
Maybe a week.
Yeah.
The girls, and they decided to immediately target a girl.
Yes, immediately.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I think. Right. Is that not how you do it?
That's exactly how to do it.
How they did it.
And technically, one of the leaders have already been eliminated. Yes, pound for pound, strongest female cast ever. You know,
no,
you take out the head of the snake, and then that's how you get it. But we'll see how this goes. Okay, guys. Jaemeel, there's so much we have to catch up with you on this season. The Leftovers Alliance now fully a thing.
The Leftovers Alliance.
Yeah.
Is this where you're gonna pause the show and then show clips of each of the person in the alliance multiple times throughout the episode while putting a bomb, 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 bomb? I hate. Jeff, you talk about how much you hate the visual narrative, the audio visual narrative that Big Brother Canada does. This is what I hate about Big Brother US, where they just repeat stuff they already talked about in the recap. Right, and they have to do it constantly with just to remind you who's in this alliance. Just to remind you who's in this alliance. Yeah. Oh, remember when we mentioned it before? We're gonna do it again. Bomb, 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 bomb. It makes me feel like an idiot watching it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely see what you're saying there because that's why I love Big Brother Australia.
that's your new talking point.
Say these things.
That's your new talking point.
Say these things.
Before it was this is why I like Big Brother US. And now Big Brother US is, and you got a taste of Australia. You're like, this is why I love Big Brother Australia.
Yeah.
Jeff, I hate to tell you, there's some trouble in Big Brother Australia land. It might not come back.
Oh no.
Well, there's always the old seasons.
But guys, back to BB24 and this season. Let's look at this diagram that the Big Brother official social media had posted out last week to try to kind of explain things. You might see the name of an alliance Old School on here. That's not even been talked about on the show at all.
Because it doesn't exist anymore now.
It doesn't exist anymore, but it was kind of what led to the whole Amira eviction. And guys, we haven't even talked about the Amira eviction technically. We kind of knew it was coming Wednesday, and then Thursday played out. So on the Thursday episode, we saw that she was completely blindsided. We see a bit of that here in this nominations or HOH competition episode as well. But this whole Old School alliance, which I guess is Amira, Jasmine, maybe Alyssa and Indy.
Yeah, I was about to mention. I'm like, who's the one person missing from this entire diagram? Could you immediately point it out?
Not immediately. I think I had looked at this before. The person immediately missing is
who's not in any of this whatsoever.
Terrence is present. You would think it'd be Terrence, but he's there.
Yep. You just mentioned the person's name. Indy is not.
Oh, Indy's at the bottom.
Sorry.
She's at the bottom. Yeah.
That's why I wasn't able to answer your riddle.
Yes,
but she is the one that's on the out. She has a different color. She's kind of like this rogue agent. That's true. I also found it interesting that Daniel voted to evict Amira too. Yet he's
sympathy vote.
Yeah, I guess it was because it would have been 6-5 either way. But I'm surprised he didn't vote that way just to make it more
clear. He thought he was giving Terrence a sympathy vote. So it's really 5 people are on the outs. We forget that it was. I keep thinking, it was only 4 people who were on the outside vote, but Daniel was accidentally on it. He didn't know this was coming.
He literally actually voted a sympathy vote and didn't he didn't know.
It's great.
He was
no,
that.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know at all.
That's hilarious.
Right. And the people who didn't vote on the right side, of course, Amira completely blindsided in the vote. And Nicole, Daniel, Alyssa, Jasmine, and Indy had all voted on the wrong side. And then, you got what's basically the leftovers on this other side that did know. And then, Taylor, who's gone from public enemy number 1 to now in the majority alliance and seemingly having some kind of a place there. What do you make of this turn of events, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I thought Taylor, once she actually got into this alliance, and that's kind of what the episode was all about tonight, was I thought she set some boundaries for herself, didn't let people walk over her. I actually thought she played really, really good. I thought she was the best player of the episode.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a difficult place that she's coming from in terms of being social pariah to having a little bit of power. Because what you often see is people who get a little bit of power kind of overextend themselves, and then immediately people who work with them feel this person is a pain. But she eased into it. She set boundaries, as you did mention, right? But also left the possibility of she made it a discussion as opposed to a cold hard fact. I'm not going up on the block, right? Right, she did establish a working relationship, and I think that was a good step to build trust, especially with individuals like Monty, where that trust is very fragile from both sides.
Jaemeel, what did you think of the Amira's eviction? Are you?
Oh, I laughed. I hope that she calls the producers of The Amazing Race and they hang up on her.
She's going to The Amazing Race with Nicole. Did you hear about that?
Yes. They need some good villains on The Amazing Race, so I'm kind of maybe they should take them.
Her and Paloma. What could go wrong?
Well, no, her and Nicole. That's what they were trying to aim for.
Okay. So best friend in the house, even though I never.
You never really felt that, right?
I didn't best friend, like maybe friend. I would be like,
But I thought
are they
Daniel was
friends?
her best friend. But
It
I
didn't
guess
let her say goodbye. Okay.
Didn't let her say goodbye. Yeah, there was some angriness, and some people are running scared in this game, Jeff.
Nicole is running scared. The whole episode.
Nicole in particular,
Yeah.
because she was like, "I'm going to go up as a pawn next to get out Taylor," and now she's the target.
She's a bonehead player. I mean, like she's really playing bad. It's just bonehead move after one another.
Now of your pair, Jeff, there's of course
Daniel and Nicole. It's not good.
This isn't the best screenshot of Daniel, but it's kind of fitting.
It's it's blurry for one.
Yeah, just he's not quite in focus, I would say, Daniel.
Nicole also always looks either upset or in pain.
She's got like an anguish to her.
Yeah, it's anguish. It's like she's hurt.
She's been wounded.
She's been wounded, and she needs to do something about it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because one of the biggest mistakes people have on Big Brother, especially early in the game, is feeling that they're in control of the game.
Yeah.
Right? You can gain control of the game. Maintaining it is very difficult. We see it all the time. People who think they start off at the beginning, first 3 weeks, right? And then the dust settles and then the real power like comes into focus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She thought she had this game wrapped up. You heard them talking about it, how they were like gonna get to the end. They were planning out what jury was gonna happen. Like, it is way too soon. You haven't even seen what stupid twist CBS is gonna bring out, and you're already thinking that you're ahead of the game, right? You're focusing all your energy on one player who like hasn't won anything. Like, I'm surprised that you're telling me you have this big alliance and you didn't think, hey, you know what? Michael's winning a lot of vetoes. Maybe we should focus on that dude, and Taylor could happen anytime.
Right. That would be the logical thing, but it...
I am a fake
Don't
bitch.
speak to me until finale.
Do not speak to me until finale.
Yeah.
Are you taking me to finale?
It's the Lays.
Oh, yeah, the Lays.
Just stop. From this point on, just stop.
With the Lays?
Yes, with the Lays. Stop it with the Lays.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Chewing them.
Reddit has already put flares on people's names. It's like the Lays. It's like a flare for people's names.
The Lays.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Lays exec, you're like, oh my gosh. People are gonna be taking photos and doing videos while watching Big Brother with Lays. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Daniel.
She's got to do a Lays commercial. It's like, stop it with the Lays.
Yes.
No.
Can we talk about the HOH, the new HOH Monty, who won this challenge tonight?
Look at his face.
Yeah, he was very focused. Scored an 11. He won with an 11.
He did.
This, Jeff. What do you think? How did this go?
Yeah, whatever. I think it's a fine competition. Whatever you see, you slide some down the way. Some people.
Do you think that the sound effects were necessary when they was like this? Like if the glass went all the way across the table and over, it would make the shatter sound, but you would clearly just hit this plastic cup hit the floor.
Those sound effects were not necessary, but the ones I did appreciate was when Jasmine walked in and they just went like squish, 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 like every.
I've now pulled it.
Of course you did.
So that was fun. Yeah, they have. She's
Are they gonna put like I don't know if you all remember Friday, the movie from like 1995, right? Tony Lister Jr. played a character named Debo, and anytime Debo showed up, he would be riding a bike, and you hear the squeaky wheels coming, and it's like don't. That's exactly what I figure with Jasmine. Like Jasmine starts doing Amia's thing, where she's like sneaking into each room to hear what people are saying. Right, and you just hear her wheeling around, squeaking around.
Yeah, she's coming.
Well, not just even the challenge, but we also kind of didn't cover just the challenge that kind of finished the last episode, where all these envelopes come down and you have to find the, what was it, like 8 red or 7 red envelopes?
This is
like
dumb.
Yeah, it was not a great competition.
What is this? Just random chance? Why don't you just randomly assign the 7 who get to go? What is your skill here to finding them?
Be in the right spot and open envelopes properly.
Because Terrence just like was the first one he opened happened to be a red envelope. So
it felt like this competition was built to be done in within
On
the
air.
hour, right? And they just didn't. Which I guess they changed at the last second because of the amount of footage they need to show to make the eviction make sense and display what's happening currently in the house. But I felt cheated. This reeked of lazy Big Brother US challenge making.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It reeked Jeff.
Yeah, that's true. He's right.
Yeah.
It's not like over on Big Brother Australia.
Exactly. Thank you.
Jeff, would they have something as cool as this on Big Brother Australia?
Much cooler.
Much cooler.
They would actually put real liquor in real glass.
Yeah, and anything they spilled would be taken out of their grocery budget.
Right. Here's my question: was it necessary? I just want to get to it here.
I already know the answer, Dave, but continue.
Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was some hopping going on here from Jasmine when I know she's rolled her ankle and it's in the process of recovering over a week now. So you think she'd be able to put a little bit of weight on it at this point, or she could at least wear an air cast, and she could probably get around okay. But instead of using her wheelie here, because I guess that would have been an unfair advantage, maybe that they wouldn't, I think, or she opted not to use it. She decides to hop around in one foot, which seems more hazardous. What if she rolled her other ankle? And then she'd need a wheelchair.
It's so great. you just sound effect. It's like that. She's on both legs.
Well, I don't know if she's so spry on her feet based on her past history in this game.
If that happened, that would be the greatest moment of television. I don't wish her, but if that had happened, you're right, because it is dangerous. And, oh my God.
It's better to use 2 feet whenever possible.
What? I don't understand. Like, was there a time component to this thing?
There was, but
tie, right?
Then there would be like a tiebreaker, I would imagine, if there was with the time. So like if she got 11 and Monty also had the 11 here, then she wants to be faster than Monty, but really she just should focus on getting the higher scores.
Exactly.
Right, like she could beat an 11 here by getting 5-5.
She should have taken her sweet time with each one of them.
Right,
you know what I mean? Because
as long as you get 12, his time was not like insanely good.
As long as you get 12, it doesn't matter. Well, you could have taken 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what's important. I just saw racing, and I'm like, would she end up with 4?
Sorry,
I don't remember. Yeah,
she ended up with a low score, and I'm like, what was all that?
19 seconds and 35 seconds is how fast Monty did.
She could have chilled. Okay.
Yeah, but if she gets a 12, it doesn't matter how long she takes.
Yeah, you could do it in a minute, 2 minutes.
Right. So if she got 3 4s, that would have been good enough.
Yeah.
Or some combination thereof. But it wasn't like he did super well here. And I don't know. Jasmine.
It wasn't even live. Like, why are you hurting yourself? The people at the beginning also racing. I'm like, why are you racing? Establish a good score. Put the pressure on the people behind you.
I agree. Like this was so good. Yeah. This is a good one.
Lord.
There she is.
So, interesting fact. I have a lot of experience with that bike. A friend of mine who I went to San Diego with, he was on a bike of that nature as well. So he was, riding around on it practically for a week.
Yeah.
And,
was all good.
He was a lot more mobile than she was. A lot more mobile, and he broke his. Did he
Like
break his ankle?
I actually I get upset watching her, guys, because on all kinds of levels, on just a game level, just when they're talking about the aftermath of this whole Amira vote and how she's like, how the hell did we get cut out here? How we not the ones to know, right? I have a few clips here. I'm just trying to see if I can find a good screeny here of
But to me, that's the wrong type of thought process. Like, even themselves, they're on the wrong side of the vote. Why are they isolating themselves with the bigger group?
Yeah, you need to identify who the big alliance is, and then find ways to find cracks.
Exactly.
That seems to be too logical, Jeff.
Well,
it's like no, we just want to be in the majority. Basically, everybody wants it easy. Everyone wants to be lazy.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the majority alliance, and I want to ride that till the jury, and then we'll
and if I'm not, I'm gonna get voted out. And it's that's how I lost. Well, it's like,
everyone's got to lose somehow. It's what
So when you're trying to figure out your your voice lines, in terms of determining where the votes went, everyone in the leftovers freely admitted, it wasn't on the show, but they freely admitted that they voted the way they voted. So technically right now, Nicole and company know exactly who voted for what.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The only person they didn't ask is Taylor, because they just assumed, right? And Taylor had, like, all of the people from the leftovers had their excuses set. The reasoning why this whole thing happened was, it was Taylor and Kyle were talking, right? And Taylor was walking around. So the plan was to put the blame on Taylor, that she overheard about the post-pack alliance, right? And started telling people, right? And then upon telling people, people felt who were out of the alliance felt very questionable about going forward and voting for Amira, and voted to get rid of her because they were in an alliance. She was in an alliance that they weren't a part of. And the people who were in post-pack that heard that other people found out decided the alliance is over, let's save ourselves and vote in Amira. That was the plan, right? To cover themselves in this situation, to explain away why the vote happened.
But is that believable? Do you think?
Okay, what part of it isn't believable? That Taylor told or Taylor overheard? Because people already have the impression that Taylor's a little snake, shuffling through the brushes, right?
Well, yes, I think that's exactly how she was described. And sorry, and on that note, let's bring her up. This is as good a shot as any. Jasmine tonight,
Taylor knew about the vote flipping before me. Somebody, I'm just, oh my god.
Oh my god!
And I should have known, because she's always like sneaking and like trying to tiptoe. Like, girl, we see you. We see you. You were not slick.
You were not slick.
The hilarious part about that is that's exactly how everyone else in the house would describe Amira. All Amira does is when people are talking, she like hustles over to where they are, right? Sees what they're doing and then rustles back. We saw it last episode when the people were hanging out in the backyard, and she's like, "Oh, I couldn't sleep, so I just walked around to see what people are doing, and then all of a sudden I decided to go all the way back to my bed." Right? That's exactly the stuff she's doing. Everyone knows it. Amira does that. She checks to see where everyone is, and everyone is annoyed by it. So the fact that they're placing that type of blame on Taylor, who's been minding her own business, hilarious.
Jeff, you're back.
He is, and he agrees with me. He had to take a sip.
You're a little hard to hear.
really? What's wrong?
Well, you didn't talk into your microphone. It's probably.
Can you hear me?
Hear you. Jasmine, Jeff, as a player, as a competitor, I'm just saying, like, on my thought originally started on she annoys me on all aspects, whether it be diary room, whether it be competition, whether it be just her talking to the other house guests.
Yeah, I agree.
I would rather her be off sooner off than later.
She's one of those house guests where I kind of wish she gets evicted because like I feel like she should get evicted. You know
and they would have to put up Turner with her because that's her bestie. This whole bestie thing
backfired.
I think 2 more weeks. I think 2 more weeks of it.
2 more weeks. Is it a good thing or a bad thing for the game? I think it's mostly like making it really easy on the HOH. Is kind of what the end result of it is. Because you can put up a target with a bestie, and then you can kind of work around how it's going to work, and you can control how the numbers are going to work a bit more in terms of like, if there's a veto, if this person wins the veto, then we can put so-and-so up. And so it's like there's only a certain amount of scenarios where, the veto can't go the way for the leftovers. And the weird thing about this show tonight, Jaemeel, was that, like now the majority alliance, the leftovers are the ones we're cheering for, but normally we're not cheering for the big alliance. Normally, for me at least,
the big alliance that has majority of males, majority of all the strong males.
Yes,
right.
Which this one does, which the leftovers does.
It's so ridiculous,
right?
Well, but there was a majority alliance before
post pack.
Yeah, the post pack, but like kind of like even like those people.
The old school,
like plus Daniel. There was that side of the house clearly. That was Auntie Taylor. And wanted to get her out in the first 2 weeks. And they fixated on it. They had to get this girl out. It's like,
well, a few of the players did, and I guess it all like what I've noticed after watching so many seasons of the show is that the first HOH's tone really can affect the rest of the season, or even the second HOHs. If there's like a few like really headstrong kind of narcissistic HOHs who go on like HOH-itis, right, for the first couple of weeks, that can sort of have like this sort of lingering effect, even if they get voted out the next week. Like a Frenchie. I think like Frenchie like left a mark on the season, right from the get-go. It kind of set a tone, or there's been others where somebody, who wasn't Devin an early HOH?
Devin, yes.
Devin.
Yeah.
There's an archetype for it. You're right. 100%.
Yeah.
Like there is a good way. Like McCrae set himself up as the first HOH of that season to be good for a long while. And he didn't do a lot for many weeks, right? Because he had himself set up. He didn't overstep his bounds. He just, he didn't step it up when he needed to later on. He should have upped his game a little bit earlier in the latter part of the game. But you can win HOH and set yourself up. That's the whole reason why it's appealing to be HOH, in that first week. You kind of can set yourself up into a big alliance, get allies, have the connections. It's easier. People are coming to you. But we've seen those last couple of seasons where these like the ambition to like make a mark on the season, it's like, dude, no, it's the first HOH. You're supposed to make bonds, not to like fixate on specific people, which is what like Frenchie did, where he didn't just fixate on one person. It was like hot potato in terms of his fixation, where like a good portion of the house just practically hated him after his HOH was done.
Right, and I guess I think 2 contestants maybe in particular had that effect. Even only one of them having been the HOH already, and that being Daniel and Nicole. Jeff's draft picks.
Bless your heart, Jeff.
They're dead. They're dead in the water. There.
Is Daniel going far in this game, Jeff?
No, neither. They both suck.
Why get out Nicole before Daniel? Because she's just stronger, more likely to win.
Yeah, more likable. Daniel's got.
Once Nicole is done, what's Daniel gonna do?
He's done. They're both done.
Well, he kind of says as much in the episode. He's like, "What now? My game is over without Nicole."
Once Nicole is done, like,
is that his whole game? That's Daniel's whole game, is just to attach himself to one person or one
That's what
ride
he
and die?
did. Like, that's literally what he said when he got the HOH. He's like, "Oh, I'm aligning with Nicole, and everyone else doesn't matter." Is basically what he did. I was like,
But I didn't think he meant it.
well, he meant it.
Because who else is he close with?
I don't know. Anybody? No.
No,
like
he decided this. Like, that's what he wanted.
Why Nicole?
He said he walked in and he's like, I just vibed with her, and it was, I don't know.
Dude, I don't get it. I don't understand the connection.
Player. He's not a brave player.
Is she using Daniel?
I think they're both using each other and both of their own demise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk a bit about the HOH experience with Monty? Who wants to see Monty's HOH room?
Not me. So
no.
Bored. So
yeah, his mom.
Put it on a secret scene. Put it up online for people to watch. I don't care. Like, this does not contribute at all to the story or narrative of it. Right? Put it in a separate scene. People can watch it on their own leisure. The only thing important about it was they were trying to have a meeting after the HOH room introduction. He didn't even get to get a set of clothes from Winners. So lame.
From Winners? I think it's from Losers, if you ask me.
The Wendy's?
Who wants to go to Wendy's? Get back at them.
Get back at them.
Get back at them.
Is that in my heart?
Get back at them.
You still have that shortcut.
Say these things.
I was like, I have the shortcut. So I did enjoy the part with the diary room for Brittany. Brittany's starting to grow on me in the diary room times. She's a go to bed, everyone. We need to
So go to bed, please. We need our time.
go to bed.
I'm slowly, Dave. I'm with you. I'm slowly walking back my opinion of Brittany. She still has crazy eyes, and she needs to rein it in a little bit. It's tough, right? But she is growing on me.
Where is she? Crazy? What are you talking about?
You know what? Here's the thing. When she's more casual, she seems like more of a normal person. But when she's done up, the intensity around her eyes, it's a little bit
it looks like a little mugshotty,
Yeah, granted, I am freezing a specific millisecond in time.
It's a little criminal. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. She looks a little psycho. I don't think she is. I'm just saying. So what?
Yeah, I get that vibe. She isn't at all. She needs to regulate her energy.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's my question about Brittany. Well, where will she come out on the other side of this leftovers alliance, assuming it's even successful? Because she doesn't seem to quite be what I would expect, Kyle and Monty to work on. I know that's kind of why they're called the leftovers, because they're kind of everybody else and they're not necessarily the intuitive alliance. But
so we should be fair with what's happening right here. This is an alliance of convenience for the time being, and once Caesar has conquered all nations, everyone will stand and weep because they realize that they have to go at each other, right? And you already have the different sections already kind of portioned off. Yeah. You have the Pound, you have Michael and Brittany, and then you have Taylor as an independent body, right?
Terrence, is he in there?
Terrence is not a part of the leftovers. Technically,
Terrence is not really part of anything. There was a scene tonight. We haven't really talked about that, but Terrence was kind of. Sorry,
we're
yeah, they're everyone's being nice to me now. Everyone wants to work with me now.
Yeah,
he joined the trio. It was basically to explain he joined the trio, the besties of Joseph and Monty.
Yeah.
So he's safe this week. because Monty couldn't even nominate him. If he was the target, it wouldn't matter because he wasn't evicted last week. So he got to choose to join their trio. That's what they wanted him to do anyway. But even if if this had been Daniel who had been up next to Amira, this I don't know what exactly my point was there, but it's changing
right.
the rounds a little bit and the strategy of how it's going to play out.
I just feel like this is a alliance of convenience, and next week we're going to kind of see where the dust settles. And I'll talk more about it during our spoilers area period of time because it kind of factors in with the rest of the week and what's currently going on.
Right, here's the shot. Yeah, this is the scene here we saw. It was kind of a flashback scene where it was Monty and Joseph with Terrence in like the kitchen.
He has his shirt off and he just has like a scarf.
Yeah, Joseph is only wearing a flannel scarf in the kitchen.
What did you do?
New choice.
Now, who's awkward? Are those two awkward without shirts, or is Terrence awkward because he is wearing a shirt?
I think he feels awkward, but he really shouldn't.
So, if that was you, Dave, would you take off your shirt?
No. I think I'm not afraid to take off my shirt as much as to not be next to these two particular men with their shirts off. They're kind of all bodybuilder types. They look like wrestlers, actually.
It's like, where's the oil?
Yeah.
Start scoring themselves.
Yeah. Jeff, do you think that this Leftovers alliance can last to jury, or do you think it's kind of doomed?
I think both. It will probably last to jury, but then it will doom itself.
What did you think of the conversation here between Monty and Taylor? As Monty was kind of saying to Taylor, he kind of expresses that he wants to get out Nicole, and he's just you could start because I know you have thoughts.
You start. Because I know you have thoughts.
You have thoughts. I thought,
you have the ability.
You have the ability to think. He was not necessarily the nicest to Taylor in the early weeks either, and so he's kind of coming. He's like, you have thoughts, and he's trying to get used to the beat on the other side. He's like a villain turned, maybe chaotic neutral.
He's kind of like Kang,
lawful
neutral. Like the one who remains, he who remains.
Yeah,
I just see him as like one of these players that is not. They're gonna come after him at some point because he will really only have Joseph, I think, as a shield.
Joseph will be his number one throughout the game. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And at this point, I think Monty had more options before, but after this post Leftovers thing, and Jaemeel, what's sort of the feeling of the other side of the house on Monty? Because most of them were aligned with him. He ends up, of course, putting up Alyssa and Indy ultimately here because they're also two people not in the Leftovers. So, and they, that they're as viable as anybody else.
The Leftovers as an alliance is not known as of yet. They're still under the radar.
But they know who was not on the right side of the vote and who was.
Yeah, but they don't think that there's anything organized, right? They thought,
but shouldn't you assume there is? Isn't that the right thing to do if you're a player, if you're Alyssa or if you're Indy, to assume that the other side has now created a new alliance?
So not Indy, because that's not fair to Indy.
Right? Indy was very confused by this.
You're expecting way too
he
much.
could just put another person and not me. So it's literally heartbreaking.
That's how it goes. I can't put up another person because I want yourself and Alyssa there. That's why.
Okay. Well, you can go back to the ocean.
I love the ocean.
Yeah. Indy kind of guilting Monty was pretty great to watch.
Do you think it was effective?
No. But it was great to watch.
It was I don't care.
There was a couple other conversations. Now, can we also talk about the whole what's going on with Alyssa and Kyle in this episode? Because we saw here, there was a scene where Turner and Joseph approach Alyssa, and she's crying. She was feeling homesick, Jaemeel. But we find out here that there's more to this. That she's actually missing her one person. Who Jeff and I think we're talking about. Somebody posted on Twitter about this that broke up with her on Twitter.
I just wish I was home with my one person.
So Kyle, he likes Alyssa, but does not want to get involved with Alyssa, right? But Alyssa is heavily pursuing Kyle, right? And then Alyssa at the same time is also heavily jealous of when Kyle spends any time with anyone else, right? Including Taylor. Kyle is sick of it. And Kyle's like, I want to get this person gone so I don't have to worry about this. Right?
Yeah.
So he has his fingers crossed.
There's this whole conversation he has with he's like, well, I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the vote and that, you're my number one person. She's like, how can I be your number one person? And so she says in the diary room she doesn't trust him. But you're telling me that, but also she's romantically pursuing him hard, maybe.
Hard.
You saying that these tears in her eye aren't real?
I never said it wasn't hard. Look, people are multifaceted, right? Just because you see something, especially in the diary room, right? That doesn't necessarily mean...
It says it right there, Jaemeel. She's Indy's bestie. That's who she is.
Indy's bestie.
Well, that explains it all.
He is a sex coach, guys. So that's...
She loves horses.
She loves all kinds of things.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Part of my process to become a sex coach is literally to find out what makes you happy.
Makes you happy.
The whole house knows that I'm a sex coach.
The whole house? Oh, the whole house. Sorry.
I love gold. Gold's my favorite color. Hi, I'm Indy. I'm from Brazil, and I think you guys heard that Brazilians are the most fun people, right? I'm here to prove it.
Is she here? Has she proved it yet, Jeff? To you?
I don't know if she has.
Yeah,
she was fun, especially here for the show. But I don't know.
We need an indie HOH down the line. I want to see some HOH-itis. It's great.
Yeah, she would be a great HOH. I would like to see that maybe after this week or even 2 weeks, just to see how a mid-game indie HOH would go.
Don't waste it on a double eviction. I want a full week. A full week.
Yeah, it's got to be a full week. No twist. Don't mess it up for her. Just give her a standard week.
Yes.
Where she has a clear target and just do it and see what she does. But yeah, Kyle was saying that Joseph was also intervening here. Do you think that he was doing his friend Kyle? This was altruistic, Jeff, or do you think this was strategic for Joseph?
I think a bit of both, but probably maybe a little bit more on the strategic side. I think he he could have kept that to himself, and he didn't need to go tell Kyle that right away. But he does.
Yeah. Jaemeel, any thoughts on Joseph here?
He just turned 25.
I'm not sure if I just heard what I heard. I think she said I missed my person or something.
Which, to be fair, could mean anything. She could miss her dogs, which people would say I miss my person or.
Well, she I thought that was the one thing about the statement. It was she didn't say boyfriend, right?
I just wish I was home with my one person.
My one person. Now that sounds like a significant other, but maybe she means her mom. I don't know. Who's to say?
The one important person in her life, right? Yeah. That she draws strength
her
from.
Best friend, maybe.
We don't know who that one person is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
it's a pretty big leap, is what I'm saying. It's a pretty big leap.
Are you saying that Kyle's being more opportunistic, maybe, about this whole thing? Is he really blindsided, or does he want to actually distance himself from Alyssa now?
He wants to distance himself from Alyssa.
Yeah.
Joseph telling me that Alyssa might have a situationship outside of the show kind of hits me. Dude, can't be doing this. Like, get away from me.
Dude, can't be doing
And
this.
then he says, I'm horny.
Yeah, that was what I was like. There was something I missed it. It was the I'm horny.
Oh my
I
god!
knew I forgot something. Yeah, I'm horny. I can't
That
help it.
has to be in any type of exit interview. They ask us like, "Are you still horny?"
Are you still horny for Alyssa?
In general, I don't think it was just for Alyssa. I think it's in general.
Yeah, but well, I guess he's not a Mormon anymore, so he can pull it off here. Jeff, do you have any thoughts here on this whole thing with Kyle?
Kyle and his horniness, please. Let's go into detail about this.
Yeah, I mean he's an interesting guy. I mean, with this whole Alyssa situation, it's I think there's some real emotions there, but at the same time, I think game is actually getting in the way of their relationship quite a bit too. The way they both viewed the game clashed, I think, and they weren't on the same page. If they had been, it probably would have been a showmance, you know.
Yes, one second.
You're so
need to
distracted,
find it.
Dave. You're so distracted. It's hilarious.
I had forgotten about I'm horny.
Were you trying to track down the?
He's tracking it
Before I forget.
It's so great. Oh, that's one of the landmark lines that's on his soundboard for sure. Like, look, folks, if you're ever on Big Brother, don't say anything that you don't want repeated back later on. Just don't say it, right? No matter what production tells you to do, don't do it, because it's going to end up on a soundboard and you're going to be hearing it for the rest of your life, right? I bet Dr. Will's tired of like people going ring, ring, ring. It's Chill Town, you know. Who won it?
Right or true? Who won HOH? Monty.
Monty. Yeah, we didn't really mention that. Yeah, Monty won with 11. The next highest was 10, which was Nicole. So thankfully, we didn't get a Nicole HOH. We're very thankful of it. And do you think Alyssa could stay? That's a little bit of spoiler territory. So, do I think so in the current situation? I think Alyssa will be staying. It says single. Yeah, people's bios say a lot of things.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's actually the truth.
Yeah, like it also said single for Turner, and then he obviously has that girlfriend who sent him the thing and the picture, and he seemed like he was in a relationship with her.
So you see what Mary is saying, right? Heavy, where people are saying sexual harassment. Like, she is like going hard on Kyle.
She's going hard on Kyle. Sexual harassment? Hard? What? She's why?
Maybe she's horny too.
I'm just too horny, dude.
Oh,
I had to keep the sound effect too. Big Brother was like, we need to add something.
I'm just too horny, dude.
Is that like an erection for me? Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah.
So wait, when he does like the interview sections, if he gets eliminated anytime soon, is someone going to play Me So Horny as this intro?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Kyle.
Did we answer this one already?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Monty.
Did we get Sam's confession?
No.
Are we going to give him absolution? How many Hail Marys will be needed here?
This is Sam's confession. Mm-hmm.
He finds Alyssa attractive. Are you going to be sexually harassing Alyssa? Is this going to be like a triangle with you and Kyle?
Sam, bro. Okay. It's all right. It's all right to find people attractive. They usually put a lot of attractive people on the show. But you have to realize, what are you there for in the long run? Are you there for the money, or are you there to, hook up with someone? Right? It's up to you in terms of what your decisions are, because priorities change in life. But at the same time, if you think that long term, right, that there's something that's possibly could happen, right, you need to remember, you're in a specific situation, which kind of fast forwards how a relationship could be. But at the same time, it's not reality. It's not your normal day-to-day life, right? So you have to make sure that you build a relationship, yes, but the real relationship doesn't start until you're outside the house. That's where reality is. That's where you two would be together, right? In terms of like having an actual thing. If it's just a hookup, you could hook up, right, and just deal with the consequences.
What
right?
if it's for game moves? Can a showman's
A showman's could definitely be for game,
Oh yeah.
right?
with
But-
benefits? Is that
like-
friends with benefits? Is that how you would?
What was
translate?
the guy, the Southern Asian guy, James, and he was trying Natalie
Yes, and she was kind of going along with it. She's like, I guess
Until she wasn't.
until she wasn't anymore. But she like there was there's a little bit of like a PR thing to some of these things where it's like, well, I need to like pursue this relationship because I don't want to look a fool that I was going after so and so and then I didn't get so and so or whatever. And there's been a lot of weirdness with some of these showmans slash stalkerships over the years.
Just like you don't want to be what's his name, stalker, cowboy, what's his name?
Beast Mode
Beast Mode
Cowboy.
Cowboy and Amber, right?
Yeah. He's like, where's my girl? He called her my girl to everybody in the house.
Sam, all I'm saying to you is understand reality TV is not reality, right? So what necessarily is on the show doesn't necessarily equate to what's happening in real life.
Sometimes
just
you might
keep
meet
in mind.
somebody. You might meet
Yeah,
somebody,
like
and
Robin
then
Amber.
after think about Nicole Franzel, who she was going after that Corey guy, remember? And then she ends up going with Victor after everything's
Hayden,
over.
wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't it like a Hayden or something like that?
No, there was a guy named
No,
Corey.
the
I think
second time. Second time.
the second time.
It was
Oh
a-
yeah.
The first time was
Uh,
Hayden, the
Yeah.
skater dude. And
Oh
then
yeah,
the
that guy.
second time-
But that guy didn't last. Hayden. That
But
was
that's
like,
the thing. They don't last a lot of the times, right?
yeah.
Right? Some showmances last, some don't. They fizzle out pretty quickly. Sam,
They wanted Victor and Natalie to go together, but then Natalie was kind of hanging on to James, and then but she just wanted
Look,
someone to explain the game to her.
if
really.
you're in the BB cast and you get far, you're going to be touring and partying up with them for a long period of time.
Kyle's Mormon mother has been posting telling him to stay strong and say no to Alyssa.
Yes. So, Mary Bass, I strongly suggest a song from my youth that is hilarious that I always love listening to and I would always quote all the time. Not because I took it as advice, but because it always makes me feel about like moments like this. Look up Ricky J. No Means No. Such a great song. Check it out. That's my little tidbit, my treat to you listening. Right? Ricky J. No Means No. Look it up. I used to skate in that same skate area, the skate rink there.
Victor was on the challenge. Yes, he was. Well,
Yes.
he's married to Nicole, so he's always he's on the lifelong.
But Victor
challenge.
lost a lot of his strength. He's no longer the Victor of old, wearing
No,
robes.
He has. He's only a shadow before himself.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so, Alyssa, reverse sexual harassment. This is like.
Don't say reverse sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is sexual.
What was the one where
regardless of gender.
the movie in the 90s where Demi Moore sexually harassed like Michael
That's
Douglas?
disclosure.
That's disclosure.
That's
Yeah,
part of the
right.
Michael Douglas trilogy, teaching men not to cheat on their wives.
Or you'll go through the trials.
Just it's a good lesson to learn. You know,
Mhm.
don't cheat on your wives. Fatal attraction, disclosure, and basic instinct. There you go. There's the trilogy, and then you have the spin-off, which is with Glenn Close and Richard Gere, which I think is Final Analysis. There you go. There's your education, fellas. Right?
Mhm. True. Says Mary Bess. Okay,
Mary
guys.
Beth, send Sam some advice. Set him straight. It's not just coming from me. Okay.
Oh, I agree with you completely, Jaemeel. I think I think showmances rarely are an effective game strategy, like long term, because you're always going to be a target. So it's better, it's better off if you're the lesser of the showmans, I guess, in terms of threat level, But then afterwards, you better have good enough relationships outside of that show, man, so you can work with somebody else afterwards. If not, then you're a lame duck, and it's kind of like no point. And
if your showmatch is your only relationship on the show, you're gonna be dead in the water, right?
Who's the number one showman's duo in Big Brother history? Is it Jay and Jordan?
Jeff and Jordan.
Jeff and Jordan, sorry.
Jeff and Jordan.
Rachel Riley and Brandon would be another one.
Hayden and what's her name?
Well, yeah, Hayden and what's her face?
What about Mickey and Beth?
Mickey and Beth. I love how we still call her Beth. So great.
I can't remember her real name anymore. She's just Beth to me.
What about what's called again? Judas and one of the twins.
Right.
Oh, Judas and that was not good. Question here from Sam Jeff is, how's the ball hockey going? You want to take this one?
We talked about.
We're done.
We're done.
We're gonna be done.
Jeff, Sam thinks Jeff and Jordan or Rachel and Brendan are probably the best in terms of just having gone the distance.
Daniel Donato and her husband.
Yeah, they got to top 3. Yeah, Danny and Dominic. They got to top 3.
Jessica and Cody.
But
they didn't get really far. But they were a good dynamic.
Victim noises.
They do better if they come back.
Didn't they win the Amazing Race or something?
They did really well. I don't know if they won, but
they've been on a bunch of other stuff. Don't they have a bunch of reality shows? And
I don't know what they do.
Yeah. I think that they're still out there.
Cody threw some shade at the Paloma leaving, and them not having to choose.
Jeff, question for you is: are there babes in ball hockey?
Sometimes.
Answer the question, Jeff.
Sometimes.
I guess I'm the only one who should answer that because I'm the only one who's single currently. So,
well, yeah, there's some women's hockey that plays before us sometimes. They did win Amazing Race, Cody and Jessica.
There you go.
BB Legends. Have they been on the challenge as well? I bet you they have.
Yeah, that sounds more like their speed.
Right.
Were there victim noises though? Is the question you have to ask.
Just back to the episode. One more dynamic in this alliance, in this leftovers alliance, that I think still intrigues me is, I guess, Taylor and Monty in particular. These two seem to have an interesting relationship. And kind of like a frenemy sort of a vibe.
I feel like Monty wants to use Taylor, and Taylor's like, I don't want to be used.
Right. I think, that's probably accurate.
I don't want to say anything until spoilers.
Right. Well, maybe that's a good segue because obviously we know when we did cover that it's Alyssa and Indy that go up here, but he says in his speech neither of you are my target. I'm just putting you up for now because I need to hide who I'm actually going to put up. We see that who's I guess Nicole if he can convince Taylor to sort of volunteer to be the pawn, which was what Nicole was going to do to Taylor in the previous regime, and now it's Taylor's turn to be the brave one and to face the music, and I think she's more knowing that they could vote her out because they've talked about voting her out so many times. Who knows if you could ever flip a vote like that, right? And then why can't you just replace Taylor in the leftovers?
We could, yeah.
Right? So that's the risk here to Taylor.
Who would okay, so going with your scenario, who does Nicole pair up with? Because she gets to choose who she goes with after Taylor's gone.
She pairs up with Daniel and Kyle probably.
Which, Lord, that'd be so dumb.
Or maybe not, because that would give her less of a chance to be safe. Because if Daniel wins, then that would probably be all right. So she might go with even the girls.
Alyssa and Indy?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what her other options are. I guess she gets to pick. Monty and Joseph didn't get to say no, right? They could have.
Yeah. So wouldn't you pair up with Monty, Joseph, and Terrence? Because if one, you have 4 people competing for HOH technically, right? Or do they not compete in HOH? No, they compete in HOH.
They all
right?
compete individually, but if somebody in your like sort of
So
bestie group,
she has 3 opportunities to be safe for the week, with either Terrence, Joseph, or herself winning HOH, and then they're safe.
or the veto. So okay, if somebody in your bestie groups wins veto, are you also safe?
Yeah.
So if Terrence wins the veto, then Monty and Joseph. Well, obviously Monty's HOH, but Joseph would be safe.
They're all safe anyways. They're safe for the week.
So then, to answer your question, Nicole would probably want to join somebody where she has the most allies, right? That's why the girls or
see, I wouldn't do that. I would go with the group where there's a greater chance of you being safe, which is with the threesome.
Can you have a group of 4 then? Is that what you're saying?
Why not? They never said that.
You never said how big these groups can get.
Yeah,
but why would you have a bunch of pairs when you have like and then a group of 4?
It's
right?
not my. It's their stupid twist, not mine.
That's true. All right. Well, on that note, maybe we should segue to spoilers. See how this is going to go, because I kind of heard some rumblings, and I'm kind of curious to see what the final nominations are and where we're headed into Thursday. If you're going to leave us here, come back on Wednesday, August 3rd, guys. We're going to be back for the week 4 veto episode. We'll see if we get the ceremony this week. And Thursday, August 4th, we'll be talking about the live eviction for week 4. Here on Big Brother 24. Check out all of our podcasts as well. We've covered Survivor Season 42 and Big Brother Canada 10 very recently. If you'd like to check those out, or much more in the back catalog. And from there on, we're heading into spoilers. Let's see where we're going now, guys.
All right, we have our veto winners.
We have our veto winners. Who are our veto winners?
Daniel and Kyle.
Okay. Oh, Kyle. Right on.
I'm just too horny, dude.
That will win you a veto. Now, okay, who won the veto? Was it Daniel or Kyle?
Daniel and Kyle.
They were just a team?
I think so. That's what I have listed.
So in HOHs you compete individually, but in the vetoes you're always paired up. Is that maybe how this bestie twist works?
Well, that's what they have so far.
That seems to be the pattern, at least. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what? But now Kyle and Daniel are on 2 sides of this alliance or
Correct.
this house, right? So how do they decide how the veto is used?
That's a very good question. So here's the thing. Kyle obviously wants to get rid of Alyssa. He's tired, right? But at the same time, Nicole still hasn't been very pleasant to Taylor, to the point where Taylor's kind of fed up and going, look,
put me up just to get her out.
I'm done with this. Put me up with her and get her out. So at the very least, I can get rid of her. But once I go up and once we get rid of her, I'm done being a pawn for the rest of this game. I don't want to hear anyone say it. I don't want to have it mentioned, right? Like, I've done my time, right? I think it's just as fair, and everyone was in agreement to this idea. So I think that Kyle and Daniel will talk, and they will convince themselves, or Kyle will convince Daniel to take Alyssa and Indy off the block to save them. And then in turn, we'll end up backdooring Nicole and Taylor.
So either way, a woman goes this week.
Well, in this case, it's going to be out of the 3 people, or 4 people, only one of them is actually in the leftovers.
Yeah, only Taylor's in the leftovers of any of them, right? So they can control that. But if they don't need Taylor voting in order to secure the vote, right?
Correct.
So either way, it's fine. Yeah. Like I don't know. Like what do you think would be the best thing for, if you're the Leftovers Alliance collectively, for those 7 people? What's the best move they should make here? Get Alyssa out or get out Nicole?
Nicole.
But if you're Kyle,
I would say Alyssa.
I would
like Alyssa. I understand why Alyssa is a higher priority, for him perhaps for his game. But Nicole, for the rest of the alliance, it's not
easy to read. She's just Alyssa's a smarter player, and will adapt better.
We like. I disagree. I just flat out disagree.
Wow.
I think Alyssa has not shown any type of like skill to warrant that type of respect. I think Nicole is more of a physical threat, i.e., can win stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even think Alyssa has come close to anything resembling that. I don't think Alyssa can galvanize a side of the house to vote with her, right? I just like she has her people and that's it. I don't think she's convincing Turner to change his mind or Kyle to change his mind or Monty to change his mind or Terrence to change his mind or Taylor or Joseph or like I don't see where the strength or the fear of Alyssa would be, right? So another thought process is that they've been kicking the back burner is they eventually have to get rid of Michael and Brittany, right? And Michael and Brittany has been possibly been there as an option, but like an option that's murmured and not really talked about openly.
Who's they?
Monty and company.
They
Because
haven't-
I know.
Right. It's too early to worry about that.
I agree, but at the same time, it makes sense because
Well, sure.
we see where the power dynamics are in the group, and there's part of the group which is the Pound, which seems really obvious, right? That they're a close unit, and then you have Michael and Brittany and Taylor individually. Michael and Brittany need to protect themselves just in case the group decides to turn. So they are having conversations, not outing the leftovers, but at the same time having conversations about gathering allies, right? And in terms of gathering allies, Indy, Taylor, right? And even possibly Alyssa as people to talk to in terms of gathering up forces, right? Because as it seems right now, Michael can kind of take care of a group and you'd want to align with them. So it kind of makes sense that if you at least have the numbers and you have someone who could be the backbone game winner, and a lot of this games of chances, it doesn't really matter if you're a physical threat or not. You still have an opportunity to win. So I think what Michael and Brittany are doing makes sense and is good, right? Pull in Taylor, because I think Taylor's going to be a major player come, a couple votes from now when a lot of people are going to show her a little bit respect or fear, not based upon what she's done, but the fact that, they don't have to agree, right?
I think Debbie's saying that you guys don't have to agree, and if you don't agree,
We have to come to a consensus.
What do we say here, Jeff, on the
I think
podcast?
she meant the HOHs, guys.
Oh, they don't have to. Okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought but I thought it was a chance for me to go.
How can you say these things?
It's always good to play that.
But at the same time,
Kyle will use the veto, but Daniel won't.
I think that.
So they have the
option to convince Daniel.
So they both have the option to use it or not use it, but just because one doesn't use it doesn't mean the other can't.
Really? Okay, so they don't have to agree.
Right. But you can't stop the other person from using it.
I guess not.
So is that
If
better?
you don't agree, but if you don't agree, can't you just technically veto different people?
Can you veto somebody's lack of veto? No. Can you veto somebody's veto and say, no, it's not vetoed?
It's their stupid twist. Okay?
Jeff, is this as good as Big Brother Australia?
No. You know the answer to that, Dave. You know the answer.
Welcome to Big Brother.
Yeah, it's not as good as Australia. Is this festy bestie twist the best thing Big Brother has ever given us?
It's not the worst.
Yeah,
With a festy bestie.
I don't actually mind it, but they do this every U.S. Big Brother. Let's do some sort of twist to basically take the game out of the players' hands.
Does the casual audience need this?
No.
Look,
at least in Big Brother Canada 9, when they did the stupid teams thing, like second week, they're like, this is over. This doesn't work. It's over. 2 weeks and it was done. Right? They need to be able to pivot as well. This thing isn't working. It's dumb. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. I hate it.
Yeah, do you think the production always has the option, like if something's not working, they can kind of flip it any way they want as they're going?
They can. It's not like, look, Big Brother Canada is harder to change things because so much of the proceedings are based upon sponsorships, right?
Right.
US doesn't
have any of that.
Yeah,
so.
US doesn't have that. The invitation.
The invitation.
Which,
what a tie-in.
Jeff, are you going to go see the movie due to this amazing tie-in that you just saw in front of you?
Yes.
The Invitation? Yeah, it was a good promo.
Jeff, you seem so bored.
Mary Bass wants to know, is Big Brother Australia good, Jeff?
It's fantastic. You need to watch it, Mary Bass. It's Big Brother's a character, and he talks to the house guests, and he gets punches them and does all sorts of things. It's fantastic.
So
he punches them?
Punishes them.
Punishes them. So just for clarification, Mary, outside of yes, I agree. Outside of the US and Canada, Big Brother is run somewhat different than it does in North America, where Big Brother is an actual character in the game, but is an overseer that kind of controls the game and controls the proceedings and punishes the housemates, throughout the season and puts challenges in front. It's something that can be overcome, right? So an example, one of my favorite ones is have-nots. Doesn't really exist, but everyone has to take shower outside in this kind of fountain. And if you want water, someone has to be on a bike pumping for you to be able to take a shower, right? Things aren't easy, right? You have to win groceries. It's Big Brother US used to have part of those elements, and they've taken it away, right? Yeah. There is a public vote involved. So how you proceed on it is very important, right? And how you position yourself. I think it's worth a watch, and it's different, but I think that many people would watch it and would actually prefer if elements from the show was introduced into North American Big Brother.
What if you had a season where you had a bunch of house guests in like Big Brother, UK, Australia, Canada, and the US, right? And then you take like the final 5 from each house, right? And you put them into a new house together, but they don't get to like go home in between seasons. They go right from like their original house to a new house in sequester, and then they meet up for a whole new season, like a finals.
It would be hard because what rules would you follow?
I guess it goes home field advantage wherever the show takes place. You have to follow that format.
Does Australia really care about winners and Wendy's?
Yeah, they'd be like, we're going to Wendy's. We need a sponsorship here from Expedia. That's CA.
What's the Expedia room? That doesn't make any sense.
There's gonna be an Expedia room for Australia Big Brother, Jeff. It's gonna be great. Anyway,
okay, I think we got to wrap up because Jeff is gonna get.
Yeah, we're losing Jeff.
Jeff had too much fun this weekend.
We had a fun weekend down in Niagara Falls. Of course, we were.
Why were
he did a number on me?
Why were you celebrating?
Oh, Jeff's getting married in a short while. On just about a month, Jeff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, or so. So we were celebrating with many of our good friends, golfing, and out on the town, as it were. And so yeah, so I'm also feeling it tonight. I only slept like maybe 2 hours last night. So if I seem low energy, it's okay. I killed the whole karaoke bar in Niagara Falls, by the way.
Whereas I'm high energy because I came back on my vacation on Wednesday, and I've been in isolation ever since.
Did you test positive? Why?
I test negative, but a good portion of the individuals I was staying with tested positive, and are currently, some of them are bedridden, really, really bad. So the high exposure, I've been keeping my distance and everything. So.
Well, we're hoping for that. They'll recover soon, and we're glad you've been isolated. But you had a good trip to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I did.
And you had a good birthday.
Yeah, it was a birthday.
It was a birthday. I guess birthday. Not the no. I guess you have to be in isolation. I guess.
I usually I'm usually pretty low key in terms of my birthday, so it's fine.
And then Jeff, of course, had the thing. Also, okay, so we're gonna wrap up here. Again, we said we'll be back Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday. Check out our coverage. Check out our stuff. Also, you should check out our other channel. It's called Live Long in Podcast, a Star Trek themed channel where we talk about Star Trek all the time. Most notably, I think we should be mentioned that Nichelle Nichols passed away today. Jeff, I don't know if you heard that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she died today. I guess what should be. At the age
Bill
of
Russell died,
89.
Yeah, Bill Russell died today too.
Big buckle of wood. Yeah. Bill Russell.
Nichelle Nichols, of course, from Star Trek. Of course.
And the voice of Ursula from The Little Mermaid. She also passed away.
She was also. She was Ursula. Oh, okay.
No, Pat. I forget her last name, but she passed away.
Different person.
Yeah.
Different person.
It comes in groups of three.
Groups of three. Yeah. But there's also the Celia Rose, who plays the new or younger Uhura on Strange New Worlds. So she gets to carry the torch on. But of course, sadly, Nichelle Nichols
and Zoe Saldana in the Star Trek movie.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute since she's played her, but yes, she's also as Uhura. Yeah.
Communications Officer Uhura.
All deck standing by, sir.
Yeah. So check out on Mondays we have Star Trek Enterprise rewatch podcasts on Live Long and Podcasts with Jody Simpson and Adam Woodward. We will be on tomorrow night, talk about a new episode over there. On Tuesday night, Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9ish, where we got all kinds of great things going on with that, guys. Where's some okay, quick question.
Come to Quark's is fun. Come right now. Don't walk. Run.
It's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna be covering the episode "Children of Time" on Tuesday, and then in a couple weeks, Star Trek Lower Decks returns for its third season. We'll be starting up on that on August 25th. So it's about a month away.
People are really excited. People are really excited.
Check out back catalog of all kinds of new shows: Strange New Worlds, Picard, Discovery, Prodigy. As mentioned, Lower Decks, all those new shows on Star Trek and Star Trek Radio Theater. You should check out our different radio plays that we've done over there, and Trivial Debates, a monthly show we are with movies, TV, sports, and more. It's our third channel. Jody Simpson hosted the most recent episode over there. Jeff competed against Davin and Chris. You got to check that out.
I did not watch this episode. I need to catch up. I was
it's a good one. I think you're gonna find it very interesting. It was quite something.
Okay.
It was an up and down. There was a couple tiebreakers in there, all kinds of things. So check that out, and check out Davin Scalehorn's podcast, including Locutors of Trek, his Star Trek channel, and X-Rated, X-Men the Animated Review Show. I'm going to be on this Tuesday talking about the Phoenix Saga Part 3 with him and Andre. Gene Gray. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And what else? Eamon Mader's got Let's Talk About Fighting Games under his alias Sam Jerka, as well as
Michael Chan and
Alex Blackburn with the Hellbound podcast, talking horror, everything over there. So yeah, lots of great things going on throughout our podcast network and our friends' podcasts as well. Okay, guys, we're gonna get out of here, and we will see you on Wednesday. All right. What would be a good one to go out on here, guys? I think this is the.
And here we are. You want to know what hurts me the most?